morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. Our city is known for a lot of things. We have the largest medical center in the world, the busiest port in the country, and of course, we are the busiest energy capital of the world. We're also known for, that's right, fashion. It brings top designers from around the world here to Houston. Right now, I'm at Elizabeth Anthony, where our first guest is. We all came to know him as a winner of Project Runway. And Christian, now you can add author to your list because you just completed this beautiful book right here.
Yes.
And of course, the inspiration is all of what you've done to this point, because there's more to come from you.
Yes.
We always talk about where people are, and sometimes we forget how they got there. So let's beep, 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 back the truck up.
Yeah.
And a lot of us will realize that first moment when we realize that this is our passion, this is our joy. What was that first moment for you that you said, fashion's interesting, more than just clothes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably my sister. My sister was a ballet dancer, so I was always with her, like backstage in costumes and hair and makeup, and I would see these like girls transform, and I just thought it was like this fantasy world that I like wanted to be a part of, and I didn't necessarily know if it was fashion or or this kind of world of make believe, but I just loved it, and I think my mom also was quite stylish, and I talk about that in the book, that my mom like wore a DVF wrap dress as a wedding dress. You know, she was a bit kind of eccentric, and I think that kind of inspired everything.
Yeah, and when you say kind of eccentric, meaning that she would support this, because a lot of times people say, well, that can be a hobby, but you can't make a living at that, right?
Yes.
But the fact that she had that creative kind of vibe to her as well, I would imagine was great support for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I was a bossy kid too, so I think I knew that I just loved this world, and I think I was so lucky to have parents that were able to let me kind of dream, and that's why the book is called Dress as a Dream About. I want people to like open it up and kind of escape and feel like they can, I don't know, have some fun with fashion.
What was the first thing you ever made, and would you wear it?
Oh my gosh, the first thing I ever made, it probably was for my sister, but I'm sure it was like hot glued, safety pin, a mess. But I was just obsessed with like making clothes. I really loved it, and my mom was like, how do you know how to make things? And I was very visual, so I could visualize a body and figure out how to make something for it.
Yeah.
I was always good at that. My first zipper that I put in, I'm sure was like, but I put it in, and I was really proud, and yeah.
This industry, I think a lot of us didn't realize until probably more recent years. We see things on social media and shows and stuff. We didn't realize what it took to get something to this point.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of steps.
So much.
Yeah.
So
and
much.
So I'm always amazed at how something can be expensive until you break it down to how many hands had to touch it.
Oh yeah.
Before it ever got to that rack, right?
No, it's amazing. I mean, some of the pieces in this book, I mean, are thousands of hours. If there's a dress that has thousands of pearls, all hand sewn on it. I mean, some of the work that goes into it is really so much. And but I love that part. Like I love that creative process. And then we make some beautiful sellable pieces as well. But I have to always have these kind of like special pieces in the collection.
Yeah. When you say you love that creative part, so many times people follow rules.
Yeah.
And you don't stand out when you're hanging with the pack, right?
Yeah.
And so you have said before that the best advice that you could give someone is sometimes not to take advice.
Yeah, I was asked the other day about like my mentors and who helped me in the beginning, and I had people, but I really got a lot of advice early on in my career that was, I think now, I consider it bad advice, but I really just was like, what, I want to do my own thing. I remember people were like, oh, why would you ever sell shoes and bags at Payless? Like, why would you do that? And now, 10 years later, we've sold like hundreds of millions of pairs of shoes.
Yeah,
so
and
I can't imagine.
Everybody gets access to fashion.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. Because at the same time that you've sold your stuff at Payless, you've also dressed some of the biggest celebrities there are, and you have them in your book and the inspiration for them. You give them like the titles Red Hot Jones, which is Leslie Jones.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
Leslie, I love that dress. And what's so beautiful about that dress in the book is that it's actually one of the simplest dress, but it spoke the loudest in a way, because she was having a hard time finding a dress, and we wanted to really just give her a real pretty woman red carpet moment, and I think she had it.
Well, there are some designers that you look at and you go, oh, that's so-and-so. We know because they're kind of like, it stays within their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You seem to design not just with a certain aesthetic, but also for an occasion and the person.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to like find out who your customer is and who the person is, whether she's on a red carpet or just buying a dress in a store. I think it's
or
nice.
giving a speech to the Democratic National Convention, like Michelle Obama.
Exactly.
You gave her a dress that was very simple but not simple.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that dress was simple and there was an ease about it, but I think there was still some signature to what I love, a little whimsy and beauty, and again, that dress in the book, simple but speaks volumes.
And it fits her body.
Yes, exactly, fits to the person. It's always important, you know, that we dress, you know, every woman. I don't care where she comes from, who she is, what size she is. I think it's important to like support women, especially right now in our world.
All right,
Yeah.
size 10s unite.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Sweet Swift, lots of texture.
Yes, yes.
And she's a tall girl, isn't she?
She is, you know, Taylor, that's the opening of the book is that dress just because I love it so much, and I think Taylor is such an amazing artist, and it was a fun dress. It was for her fragrance campaign.
And of course, anybody named Coco.
Yeah.
Has a Coco Rocha.
Coco Rocha, I love so much, and you know, that was a great moment for me. I love that dress. It was when I got into the CFDA, so it was a big night, and
And then Fergie, of course, is somebody who I would imagine when she says, "I need a dress," you can just go wild.
Listen, yeah, exactly. And that was a fun one, you know, just because, you know, it's Fergie, and you never know what. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. You've received many awards, many accolades, and it's cool because that first moment you thought that you wanted to be a designer, did you ever think it would come to this?
I mean, you dream and you hope, but you never know. Like, and I think, like we said before, fashion is hard. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of competition. You know, it's like, it's so hard when you're a young brand. Even though I've been in the business for, 10, 12 years, you're hanging next to Dior and big brands, and you have to be on par with them. So that's the challenge.
But I think an advantage for you too is you've kind of crossed over from designer to celebrity as well. And the point is like when you say Dior or Chanel, they've been there forever.
Yeah.
But I can't put a face with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now also, I think customers like that the designer is a little bit a part of the work. Mm-hmm. I think they almost sometimes buy more because of that. And I think that's nice for me. I'm here to sell clothes.
Well, we buy a piece of you. That's what
Yes,
happens.
exactly.
All right, I'm going to end with your advice to, because we have lots of young fashion designers here in Houston who are hoping to do the same thing. Your advice to them.
I think my advice always when I meet young designers is to find what you love. If you love evening wear, if that's your world, make it to perfection. If you're sportswear and that's your world, make it to perfection. Don't try to do so many things. Just focus on what you really, really love, and it'll work.
All right, Christian, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
And for more on Christian Siriano and the other designers at Elizabeth Anthony Boutique, just log on to greatdayhouston.com.